Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. So Shraddha has had her hand up even before I came to the room. So let's go to her.
Thank you, Ananta-ji. Thank you, Sangha. You can hear me okay?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, what I wanted to bring forward is there was a strong mental health component to getting COVID, likely a vaccine, a couple of years ago. We suspect it was some sort of neuroinflammation and created what's called panic disorder. So very strong panic for no reason, didn't have a history of it. I won't get into all of the details of that, but started medication, and it's been a couple years now. So we're assuming that the brain has calmed down and I can start to titrate off of it. And what I'm noticing that's created a lot of pain is that because of that journey and that misreading of reality through my nervous system, like it wasn't like misperceiving, not really being able to trust it. There's a lot of dependence that's happened about looking to my mental state for how I am.
I see.
And for a while that was important, and getting treatment was important, that needed to be prioritized. But the space from which it was seen at first, before I got treatment, was really important because it was my only way out. And indeed, like the professionals I worked with said, they'd never seen anybody be able to just stop a panic attack, and I was like, welcome to Satsang. Lasted about 3 minutes or 3 seconds, but there is now a sense of I'm okay if everything is stabilized mentally and emotionally. Does that make sense? So there's just been there was a time when it was very, very important to prioritize that and focus on it. And now I feel like that time, the brain is healing, but there's way too much dependence on this constant monitoring of how am I? And I just wanted to bring that forth.
Thank you. Firstly, all my love, all my blessings. May the Sadguru's grace heal whatever needs to be healed in the most beautiful, in the most graceful, in the most gracious way. And I'm sorry you had to go through all this time, and but actually we've been in touch in this in the satsangs, and it seemed quite normal. It didn't seem like there was an affliction like this that was with you. You seemed quite cheerful, and I always enjoy our conversations anyway.
Yeah, medication works, but again, it's not all of the professionals I'm working with, it's not a normal thing for me. It really was like a long COVID thing. There was a neuropsychiatric long COVID. So I appreciate that. There's still just been so much reference, like self-reference to how the mind is doing, especially as I'm starting to titrate off because we're assuming I'm okay now. But there's this, and also, if I may say, like, the remembrance of what the panic response feels like in the body itself is triggering, because again, for a while I thought, oh, is this a spiritual emergency? Bring it on, like, is that what this, who knows? But it was just very, very strong experiences and there's still like a hyper-vigilance against not wanting that to happen again.
Yes.
And a dependence on, thankfully I don't have medication that it's just a serotonin thing that calms the brain down. But there's always, an awareness of, is it enough? And am I okay? And that's the part that is just causing pain, that vigilant, like it's, as you say, it's the wrong instrument to begin with. And then at the same time, it's important that I think we care for our minds and bodies and as best we can. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that hypervigilance forward that I don't think is in service anymore. And it's probably based on, within the healing field of the Sangha and your grace, just the remembrance of the terror of that experience.
Yes.
That again didn't make any sense. It wasn't related to anything actually happening,
Yes. So this sort of checking, the ego loves. So I've spoken about it often as the spiritual checker guy, where because our identity for those in satsang is so much attached, deeply attached to spiritual progress and things, it usually latches on to that and keep checking on whether we are being spiritual enough, whether we are being empty enough, whether we are being...
What's my state? What's my state? What's my state? Like that constant.
And because now you've gone through this set of experiences, it is latching on to those and using that to fulfill its desire to be the constant checker in this particular case. So what we have to do is we have to include this aspect of the mind in our openness and in our emptiness. So we have to include it in the open and empty, and we have to trust that our intuitive knowledge, our heart knowledge, the Sadguru presence within us will guide us if there is something needed in terms of taking care of an aspect of our existence, which may be the mind or the body, whatever aspect needs taken care of. That intelligence which is running this universe, that intelligence can very well guide us into taking care of these things naturally, if that is his will. We have to include this aspect of the mind, the checker guy, in this case working the mind itself, pretending to be a helpful guide to checking the state of the mind, whether we are okay, whether it needs something else, whether you're doing all right as the medicine is weaning off. But trust that your intuitive guidance can take care of that. And as long as we are open to receiving guidance in this way, I trust that if it is God's will that we are guided in this way, then by His grace, all will be well, all will be taken care of. So you have to allow these thoughts also to come and go naturally as we would any other thought. But because this particular identity has been nurtured over the past 2 years, these may seem more compelling at the moment.
When Guruji will say something like, a strong experience, when it's in the blood, it's in the veins, it's really close.
Yes.
And I don't mean for this to be the mind proving how strong it is, trying to defend itself here. I just, the fear was so profoundly intense, quite dramatic, like body convulsing, the whole thing. But knowing I'm fine inside, it was like a like something was happening physiologically. It's hard to describe, but it was such a strong experience. There's kind of an echo of it in the system, and it makes it harder to find the space. It's I would venture among the most powerful experiences one can have of fear. So it can be challenging to not get pulled in by it. Yeah. Even just the memory of it right now, I'm not feeling it right now. The memory of it is so strong. It creates all this emotion, you know? But we're always up here. All of us are talking about one strong experience or another, aren't we? You know? And you say that we have to have the sword and carry a sword strength with us when it comes. So I also don't want to give it more power than it has.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing so openly, and I'm completely with you in this. Do you feel that as you're living life day to day, you're able to remain in God's light, to remain open and empty, or this kind of fear has become dominant and it sort of overwhelms you most of the time?
Oh, no. It doesn't dominate or overwhelm. I think it's worse and more insidious than that.
Okay.
Because what I notice day to day is a relief that the mind feels better.
Yes.
So being distracted by ridiculous things, TV shows, and like not in satsang all the time. I'd have to be very forthright about that. This has been a very slippery slope over the last couple of years.
Yes.
In terms of depending on the mental state for how I am. And so now that I'm better, I can enjoy things again.
Yes.
It's
I
very
see.
tricky.
Yes, I see what you mean. So let's break it down for everyone a little bit slowly so that everyone is clear in terms of what I'm actually suggesting, and then we can see uh, where there are some trouble spots, where there could be some egoic sneakiness hiding, which comes up. So fundamentally, what am I saying? Fundamentally, I'm saying that this life is not worth it unless it is lived in God's light. You see? And when we say lived in God's light, it can only be lived in God's light moment to moment. You see? Now, it is impossible to be under the hypnosis of the mind and live in God's light simultaneously, because it is not as if the light of God goes away, but the design of the hypnosis itself is the seeming that it is no longer present. You see, this part is very critical. So we may conclude conceptually that I'm always in God's light and everything always happens in God's will. You see, we may conclude that conceptually, but the point of the seeming is that it seems as if it gets hidden, it gets obscured behind the limitation that the mind offers, behind the concept that we are limited in that way. So that is the main thing, that no matter how spiritual we are, no matter how much progress we've made spiritually in our lives, if we are under the influence moment to moment of identity through belief and thought, then God's light will seem obscure.
And when a problem has been in the mind as it has been, identity has gone toward meeting it and solving it. And that's the pattern that is causing a lot of trouble now.
So really the point is to come to God's light, and there's no way we can live in God's light unless we are open and empty. And open and empty is not an achievement that we can claim like a permanent open and empty. It is something that is moment to moment, and moment to moment alone can that happen. So it doesn't matter what yesterday was, it doesn't matter what happened before, just now. And I've been telling some of the other Sangha members also that we have to actively let go of every thought. We can't just presume that we are open and we have had a spiritual experience in the past. We have to actively let go of these thoughts, which will claim to represent the truth about us, but actually have only represent something which is limited, which is egoic. So for a while, even if it feels like effort, we must make that effort. Otherwise, we get obsessed with me, and that seems like the right vantage point to look at life from. But actually, it is not at all the right place to lead life from or to look at life from.
Yeah, it's felt pretty awful. Thankfully. And I'm aware of that effort right now. Entity just right now.
Are you aware of the presence in your heart as well?
Yes.
So, as long as the presence is with you, you're not in a limited vantage point. When you seem to be distant from the presence or disconnected from the presence, although we never truly are, but it is possible to seem that way. And as long as it seems that way, it is not the right way to live. And that's why I've said that uh, don't leave your bed in the morning till you can experience God's presence in your heart. So make that the starting point, because you don't want to get into your day living under the ego shadow and then going through that experience yourself, and then others that you meet also have that experience of the ego shadow instead of meeting God's light. So start your day, even if it feels like the whole day went in this, God's presence didn't come. That day spent in bed may be better than us creating havoc in the world, living in the ego shadow. So just allowing ourselves to be empty, allowing God's light to shine through, and uh, then we are ready to face this Leela in some way. You see, because we should not encounter this Maya, we should not meet this Maya, taking ourselves to be that which we are not. See, because that is literally the definition of hell. To meet Maya in a way that we take ourselves to be that which we are not is hell. There is no other hell but that. And to be in God's light, to be in the Sadguru presence, to be in the light of the Holy Spirit, is to be in grace, is to be in heaven. And it is not possible that we are not empty and we are living in God's light. Because the sage was not mistaken when the sage told us that the lane is too narrow. There is not room enough for me and for God. So, whatever it takes to make us empty. So, for some, just the reminder open and empty is enough. Others may need to chant something, others may need to meditate, others may need to sing some bhajan, whatever helps. It's useful that way, as long as it doesn't become an end in itself. You see, there is nothing wrong with spiritual practice in itself. You see, as long as it doesn't become an end in itself, and then soon it becomes egoic and it becomes about mastering the practice rather than it being about God and living in God's light. Okay? So, especially in this time where you're transitioning out of a particular situation, if you feel like something just helps you become empty and helps you remain empty and therefore living in God's light, then there's no harm in doing that. But if just a reminder to be open and empty is enough, then that's fine too.
Hey, Gurudev. Thank you, Anantaji.
Yeah.
Every blessing. Every blessing. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, there are some who are waiting in the waiting room. All right, let's go to Kesha. Say
Namaste. Hi, Father.
hello.
Hi. So when I came back from Bangalore, most of the pokes and things felt like just airy and shadows. No, they weren't really rooting into anything. And it was curious, it's very interesting. And then my sister's wedding was very busy, and a lot of energy went into that. And the wedding's over now. And just recently, like, these old pokes have been coming up, and just like anger, and the story about the anger changes. And maybe the sense and the ease of coming back from Bangalore with maybe just the vigilance, like maybe I wasn't as vigilant as I should be, and there was still a whisper that was subtly taking root without my knowing it, or I don't know, but I don't really know what I'm saying, but
Yeah. So, if there will be times that to remain empty will seem very natural, you see, and by grace, may there be more of those times. But there will be times where it will seem like it is the most difficult thing we've ever done. Now, what the mind will play in those times is to continue to say that, oh, but it used to be easy, so you lost it now, or something is not working now, or how I'm the victim in this particular situation, and it'll have all the narratives and all of the stories. But the thing is that there are times where you have to actively let go of it thought by thought. You see? You have to actively let go of it thought by thought. You cannot rest on how it was in the past. So when it proposes that this is what the truth is, and that's all that it is doing, the mind is constantly proposing that this is what the truth is, you see? And we've looked at the absurdity of that proposal for a long time, for many years, and you've been in satsang also for quite some time. We've looked at the absurdity of the impossibility of the fact that a concept can propose reality to us. See, like a concept can propose truth to us, and yet that is what the mind is constantly doing. And we buy into that notion, into that narrative. And the instant we buy into that narrative, it is like we put a curtain, we put a veil on God's light because we want to live on our own terms. We want to live in the ego shadow. So, especially in the times that it seems difficult, we must actively let go of these thoughts one by one, because they will only come one by one. And the thoughts will talk to you about the past, about how it was easy and how things were different and how you had it but you lose it and how that is so unfair. You see, all of those things. But you have the power to let go one by one. And we must exercise that power fully, especially when it seems difficult. Because when it's easy, it's easy. But when it's difficult, when it seems compelling, when it seems so true, it is like that. See? It comes with a great force saying it, but it is like that. Life is like this to me.
So much so you don't even have to say it is like that. You just take it like it's not even questioned.
Yes. It's not saying those words. It's just like proposing it so strongly that whatever the proposal may be, that it comes with that authority saying that this is how it is. You see? But can a mere thought actually reflect what reality is?
Never.
It can never do that. And we've tried this over and over, where we've looked and we said, okay, now let a thought represent just even what you're perceiving in this moment. Like, what is this? Can a thought represent what this is? It cannot represent, but that's its constant attempt. You see? Now, it seems harmless enough because we've done it for so many years, but the fact is that the instant we buy into what the proposal of the thought is, we are taking to be real that which is unreal. And when we take that which is unreal to be real, then we are no longer living in God's light for that moment. You see? And there is nothing worth exchanging God for. No amount of how right I am, how good I am, how truthful I am, how full of integrity I am, no amount of righteousness makes up for exchanging God. See, because these are the ego's temptations. But I'm so right. I'm telling the truth. You cannot tell the truth. The mind cannot tell the truth. You see? But it uses that as a defense for uh, this delusion, for this identity, for living in hell. So first we must want to become completely stupid losers. If not want to, then at least be fine with it. Be fine with it. Because the mind will keep poking this button and saying, without me, you are just a stupid loser. See? So if Without the mind, I'm a stupid loser, begging on the streets, with nobody giving me a second look. Then I'm fine with that, because I'd rather have God's light for an instant rather than the ego's masquerades of being something special. You see? So that's where humility comes in. Humility is really very important, because unless we have humility, the proposals of the mind will seem very attractive to us. You see? And the fact is that pride is a blind spot. You see? Pride is a blind spot where nobody believes that they are proud. Like to this day, every day I'm realizing how stupid I am and how much pride I still have. So, and it's a blind spot. See, so I'm still discovering as the depth of insight gets deepening, as the meeting with God keeps deepening here. I realize the silliness that still plays out here.
Yeah. Father, I see the pride, and it's fragrance is judgment, and it's judgment of other, and the insecurity is also pride, and the insecurity is also superiority, disguised. And
Yeah.
there the judgment comes from this superiorness of that
The,
person is wrong.
and all of this is dependent on just that one thing. See? All of
Exactly.
this
It.
is
Yeah.
dependent on just that one thing, because the biggest pride actually is that I can conceptually understand God or understand what is.
Yes. What's right and what's wrong and what they're
So
doing.
the instant we do that, you see, we are buying into the false notion of buying into false knowledge, and we are stuck in pride. Even though we may think we are being very truthful, we are being very um, nice sometimes, but the only truth can come from the heart. It can only come from the heart. Everything else is pride. So the instant we go with the ego's way, it is pride that I can do this on my own. But this my own doesn't even exist. You see, so that is the Leela, that is Maya. You see? So to stay in the heart is to stay with God. And may we not be shaken by the temptations of the mind. And the mind will use every opportunity. Will use every opportunity. One thing that we must not do is use what is meant to bring us into the heart to make fresh conclusions about ourselves. You see? So all that is being said is so that you can be in the heart, not so that you can make newer conceptual conclusions about your state again, because that is the same error. You see, so mental humility is as good as mental pride. It's the same thing. It's still making a judgment about that which we are unable to make a judgment about. You see, so if like a pet rabbit started talking to you about how you should live your life. You see? You may find it very cute initially, but eventually you'll want it to shut up. You see? So what is happening is the same way that the mind, which has no ability to fathom the nature of this reality, wants to participate in judging the nature of reality, and that is the doorway to all trouble. See? So pride is not just, oh, I'm so great, I'm so special, I'm getting all of this, I'm so free. All of that pride is also, oh, I'm so undeserving and I'm so uh, messed up, and all of those conclusions as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let go of all of that. Don't fall for any temptations from the mind. Especially any temptation which allows us to believe that we can get a conceptual answer to the way things are in life or the way things are in the world. Okay, so let me ask everyone a question. So, what is that which will make us want to do this on our own rather than live in God's light? Yeah. And let me add to that question. So, and what is that which we just presume that this must be coming from God, even though it sounds so right in our heads that we just presume that this has to be coming from God? In the sense that, so because the answer to the first question is in this second question. The first question was, what is that for which we are willing to leave God's light? Because the mind says, okay, now this you have to do on your own. Which is very right, very believable. The concept itself may sound inherently good or inherently better for us, you see, but that is not the way of living in God's light. We must become innocent like children, where we are not able to gauge the goodness or badness of even the simplest sounding concept, and we must wait for guidance from our heart. As scary as that may seem to the mind, you will not become vegetative. That is the only way to live in God's light, to live in God's will.
It's also the judgment that this is more God and this is less of
Yes,
God.
so we just presume that if it is presented by our mind in a certain way, then this automatically must be more godly, or maybe because it relies on some prior experience or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or what they're doing is not in integrity, like judging others and
Yes,
also
yes,
myself. I'm feeling this and this is not God.
yes. So yes, exactly. So even with feeling, we say, oh, because I'm feeling so angry, because I'm feeling this, therefore I must be doing something wrong. All of that is an attempt to what?
To play God as a person.
To play God and therefore to avoid God.
Yeah.
Is it? To play God by coming up with our own conclusions
Yeah.
is just an avoidance of God, is basically a mind attack on God.
Correct. Yes, well.
Is it? So the way out of this is very straightforward, but it doesn't always seem easy. Is it? The way out of this is just thought by thought. Don't presume that, oh, it's all like I'm sorted. Is it?
Exactly. Yeah.
So just when you experience suffering, Don't get into any Advaita denial, any conceptual ideas, nothing. Just sit down, let them go thought by thought. Let it come, let it go. As much of a novice practice or a beginner practice as it may seem, you see, we must return to this beginner's way.
It doesn't feel like a novice practice, actually. It feels very good to hear that.
All right. So, as we are open and empty, that is the only place from which we can speak of any sort of insight or truth. If you're still conceptual, if you're still in the mind, then all our talk about truth is just intellectual. So we have just one job. Just be open and empty. Then truth will speak through our heart. It will use the body instrument if it has to. Nothing else is needed. Can we be empty and suffer at the same time? Can't. So, and can we be full of the mind just automatically? Can't be. It takes work. It takes effort to suffer. We just see this, it'll make it a lot simpler. Just to be in God's light, actually effortless, but if it feels like effort, let's make the effort. But to suffer is a lot of hard work. You have to work with your attention, you have to work with your belief, you have to constantly be interpreting, judging. If you had to just let everything come and go, would that be work? Or if you had to sit and judge everything, this is good, this is bad, this is nice, this is good, this doesn't look good, this looks bad. After 10 minutes you'll be tired, no? But we do this all day. But the mind would have us believe that that is the effortless way to live. And it says, but to be empty seems like a lot of effort. So that's why I'm saying that if it feels like, or if you're believing it is effort, make the effort. It's okay. It's much better than sitting and judging everything. And to represent everything in our mind is to judge everything. Meet the world without a conceptual framework. If you drop everything, it won't hurt you. You may feel that if I drop the notion of up and down and sitting and standing, then how can I function? But have you tried it? Try it out.
Father, and when there's this, like when there's openness and spaciousness, like there sometimes that the idea comes of like, I just don't feel like I'm doing anything. Like I feel like I don't know how to be used as a tool. Like I feel like I'm not, like you say, to be empty, an empty tool for God to use, but I just I don't know what God wants, like how to be used. I just feel useless.
Yes, but these, what you're saying now, these are not thoughts.
Yes.
What are we using now to represent reality? Does your heart come and tell you, oh, you're being so useless right now?
No,
You're not a good instrument of God. You're just being useless right now. Is your heart telling you?
no, it's a thought.
Then you cannot use that. Like, we cannot use the mind as a supervisor there, no? I'm so empty, but I'll still use the mind as a supervisor saying, okay, now, are you being useful? Father said you should be an instrument of God. Are you being? That is literally the checker guy. You see, that is the definition of the checker guy, who is then saying, okay, now I'm going to help you on this, and I'm going to tell you what to do and where you're going wrong and what you're doing well. And you see, this is what I was saying, that the mind will say that you're doing things really badly. So just say, okay, I'll do it badly, but I'm not going to do it with you. You see?
Mm.
It's like having a friend who says, oh, but without me, who will buy you the best tickets to the best concerts and the best sports and the best whatever. But going with that friend anywhere is a big pain in itself. You see? So I don't want to be smart, I don't want to be good, I don't want to be anything if it is with you.
With you, who?
It's a mind.
Oh,
It's like the mind will come and say that without me, your life will be so pointless. You know, I buy you the best tickets to the best shows. Without me, your life is nothing.
yeah.
You see? So admit to being nothing, but at least you're without the mind. That's what I was saying earlier, that uh, if the mind says, but you're going to be stupid, you're going to be a loser, say, okay, I'm happy to be a stupid loser, but as long as it's not with you. I didn't mean it that in the sense that we must take that as a new identity or something like that. I'm just saying that as a defense against the mind's temptations of pride and arrogance, just be a humble beggar, it's fine. You see? And we must come to a point where self-concern is zero. Self-concern has to become zero. Then the checker guy cannot operate. If you constantly like, am I doing well? Am I doing badly? How's it going for me? Who is that me? That is the false one. So if our spirituality has just made us more concerned about the false one, then that cannot be a true spirituality. It's just like chanting the ego's Mahamantra, what's in it for me, in a spiritual sounding way, using big spiritual words, is not spirituality. So we must come to a self concern which is next to nothing. So I feel a great disservice has been done to true spirituality in the name of um, this kind of airy fairy spirituality which has nothing to do with God. It's all about getting us to a better state and making our life like this or like that. And we feel like then God is just in service to getting us to that point. And I'm speaking to everyone as I'm saying all of this. This is not directed individually. What's a good metaphor for this? This is definitely not a good metaphor, but it's like enjoying nice hot cup of tea with ice cubes in our mouth. Is to try and represent the world through the mind's eyes and try to live in God's light at the same time. Just not possible.
It comes after the fact, mostly, Father, after insight or after this openness, and then it comes in,
Yes. Yes, but don't keep track.
Okay.
You see, in keeping track, we have this self-concern thing. You
Yes.
see, why do we need to keep track? The truth is ever fresh and ever available right now. So we don't need to keep track of my progress or what is my trajectory and the
Yes.
ups and downs and what happens, because that also is self-concern basically, which is not the
Yes.
capital S.
Yes. Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
I love you too. Thank you. So that seems all right. Okay, let's go to Samia.
Hello, Father.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I just get angry with something now and you unmute me. Oh.
You're angry with something?
Hmm? Yeah, I just wanted to meet with you. Yeah, I mean, not just, of course, like, yeah. I miss you, of course. It's been quite some time we couldn't meet. And
Yeah.
it seems like my life is just changing a lot. And my mind went crazy actually for 2 days, and this is what is called as mind attack. Like, I don't have that so much, but since yesterday I'm just, yeah, I just went crazy, and it plays like there is something, some situation, and some thoughts came about this, and it's like I don't know the truth about this, and I didn't learn yet, so I'm just completely destroyed with that. I mean, yeah.
And yet you can live in God's light.
Yes, Father. It's good to see that something is just so stable. It's like there is I don't know how it is called, but yeah, like my mind went crazy, really. Like, I have a headache, I don't have energy to walk, but still I have energy to walk, and I'm still good. This light is still just so apparent, but it's just so disturbing, I just want to learn the truth, and I don't know. And
What do you
even
mean by in what way are you saying the truth? Like, learn the truth in what way?
like, maybe the thought is about like, okay, the thought is like maybe I'm cheated, in a worst way. It's in a very, very, very like unbelievable worst way. And it cannot be true, and it can be true. So I just want to learn this, but about this, just
But
the house is on fire.
Tell me a thought which can represent the truth.
Yeah, I was talking about the relative truths.
No, no,
Okay, again.
is it? Does the absolute need the relative truth?
No, not at all.
So
But
the
this is
relative, okay, so the relative needs a relative truth. And who is the relative, or where is the relative? Is it an uncle or an aunt, or what? Who is
the one who has nothing to do with my life and its unfolding.
that is that is the relative.
No. I mean, the gaslight which you refer to, which you shown, it's like it's completely detached from all these stories, and I don't know. Sorry, I'm confused now. Maybe you
So
can.
let's go slowly, okay? Don't worry, don't worry. So let's go really slowly. So there is an absolute truth. So what would we count in that absolute truth? We would say that reality is untouched by whatever comes and goes. The pure witnessing is not affected by whatever may happen. In the pure witnessing, there emerges. Tell me at what point the relative starts. Okay, so um, in that pure witnessing emerges unfathomable, boundless being, and that being has a primordial vibration that we call the presence. In the light of presence, the seeming world seems to appear, and the seeming world uh, also has one aspect which is the interpreter, the interpretive aspect, which we call the mind. That interpreter cannot truly tell us anything about the world or about ourselves, but it proposes to. But also, we have a deeper intuitive ability which can guide us in terms of life in the world, as well as um, as well as show us the real truth of who we are. So if this intuitive ability is present, why do we need to go to a conceptual version of truth, of what uses that seemingly relative truth, or basically falseness that refers to itself as relative truth?
Hmm. I heard you. I'm just checking.
Basically, okay, so to cut all that long story short, for what do you need to go to the mind when your heart is there?
Some blind spots makes me like this. I don't know.
Yes, but 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 the starting point could also be to give it truth value where actually it is not a true representative of anything.
I didn't understand
The
this
starting
part.
point of the trouble would also to be to make the claim that it has some truth element to it, although the only possibility of meeting the truths, either absolute or relative, is intuitively. Does the heart say that the mind is relative truths, or does the mind say that I am the relative truth?
Sorry, Father, I cannot understand you right now. Can you ask again?
Yes, I'm saying, does the heart say that the mind is relative truth?
I have no idea, Father.
We should check on this, no? We should really check on this.
First, I
Because
need to.
if the heart does not tell us that we can use the mind as relative truth, and the mind itself makes that claim, and the mind we have seen is wrong about everything, then why do we feel it is right about this?
Sorry, I'm just gone. Sorry, and I need to check some words you said. So can we start again?
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Father.
Okay, so let's go to the root of the question, which is, for what do you need to go to the mind when you can actually go to the heart?
What do I need to do?
For what, in what situations would you need to go here to the head instead of just being here in the heart?
Mm. Like till now, it. Is I don't know, Father.
You see, so I want to make one thing clear to everyone, which is that it is not that there are two distinct type of intelligences that we have. One is useful for this and one is useful for that. You see, it is not that. What we have intuitively as a Sadguru presence is the higher intelligence which encompasses every other intelligence which can show up, whether it is mental, emotional, physical. All these things are sprouting only from our intuitive insights, from our intuitive presence, from God's presence, from the Sadguru presence within us. You see, so when we become reliant on our intuitive insight, it is not that we let go of any intelligence. It is just that we are going to the source itself. So it's a very popular notion in the world, no? Because even in India, we often hear about this, that, oh, there is an absolute. So in Advaita Vedanta, we only hear about the absolute, but there's also a relative, which is Vyavarika. So we must go to that when it's necessary, and we must have the ability to discriminate between the two. Who has that intelligence? Who is going to have the ability to judge and say, for this I need to go to my heart, and for this I need to go to my head? And if that judgment lies with the head itself, what do you think it's going to claim? You see? So I am just making it clear for everyone that this is a great misunderstanding, because in the heart is the source of all intelligence. This entire universe sprouts from that intelligence, and we think that it cannot guide us in terms of our life. It is just not true. You see? So don't allow your mind to create this category of absolute and relative. Just stay with your heart. Forget about these distinctions, and your heart will guide you moment to moment. God's light will guide you moment to moment.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, Father.
To not know is the best. To not
Father,
know is the best.
what you said is already my everyday experience. So I just know what does it mean. Like my heart guides me. Just I don't know what's happening right now, but
Yeah. It's very good. Your heart is the intuitive heart. It is not feeling, it is not emotion, it is not anything but that. It is the pure Sadguru presence within you. Trust that for everything, come what may.
Mm. I want to, oh, is it good? Yeah, maybe I want to share a little bit something, offer something, but I feel little shame. Maybe it's nothing, but like, I don't know why, but I'm sorry, Father, I feel little shame to expose this.
Just in this, make this the starting point. Follow your heart about it and do exactly as you're being guided to, as you're conceptually empty in your head. Don't determine beforehand what you should or should not do. Allow your heart to guide you.
Yeah. Thank you. So I feel like, especially in relationships, right?
I
Yeah,
feel
it's
what?
my
I feel what?
Especially in relationships, one-to-one connections.
Yes.
Even though I'm just so blessed that somehow with your blessings, just everything is just so natural, you know, like spontaneous and from heart, but still mind can be very oppressive, which has come from past actually. And even the point which I came is just a miracle actually, Father, because I know how I was in past. So yeah, I just want to offer still this kind of not planning, I don't know. Yeah, this planning mind to you.
Yes.
Even though I feel that I did not have any power over my relationship and my experiences, is still somehow the fear of past, like how I experienced before, still little bit played. So yeah.
Everything you have to offer, not just that.
Of course. Of
Everything.
course. Yeah, everything.
Just don't know anything here. Nothing.
I was like this. I don't know how did I came to this
I
point.
don't know. No.
Okay. Oh, may I ask a question?
From here or from here?
Yeah,
You really
I
want to? Do you really want to? Do you really need to? From the mind again.
no.
Just allow it to come and go. Everything from the mind, allow it to come and go. It only seems important. It is never important.
Okay, this question I want to ask. But also Guruji says this, you know, like what you conceive, you perceive. So
Yes.
it seems like also mind has power, Father, you know, like how I experience life. So I don't know, maybe you can bring some clarity. Maybe that's why, maybe it's cheating point, it's this.
No, that is not the way to look at it really. the way we use the term mind is the mind is a bundle of thoughts. It does not have any ability to project any of this. You see? So in Indian spirituality, sometimes we use the term big mind. The big mind has the ability to perceive and conceive. You see, and whenever it is said like that, it is actually meant to explain to us that there is no difference in God's will between God wanting something and God meeting that or experiencing that. So there is actually no difference between conception and perception. But that is to be met at the level of what sometimes is called the big mind in Indian spirituality. But we never give that kind of credit to the small mind, which is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. A thought cannot conceive or perceive any of this.
But then why some experiences we are experiencing again and again, and it's like a nightmare, you know, like, yeah, I think we all have this kind of thing, and it seems like, you know, how also we maybe read in book or other kind of spirituality, like it's something we fear or we something experience and it happens again and again. So what do you say about this?
Yeah, so I can give you some nice answers as to why, because we have to learn those lessons, and till we don't learn those lessons, then it'll repeat and all of that thing. But the higher answer is that show me the instrument with which you can fathom the answer to any why question. Why anything? What do you know why anything for? Why do you exist? Why is there existence instead of non-existence? You see? So the mind does not have the capacity to even fathom existence, and everything else is dependent on existence. So if it cannot get the why to existence itself, then there's no hope for it understanding the why to anything at all. So again, it points to the same thing, saying the only answers available are intuitively. Don't expect that you will understand, oh, this is how, this is why the human condition is like this, and this is how it should be. And this is actually the bane of the human condition, where the mind has the ability to ask these big questions, you see, but it does not have the ability to assimilate the answer. It can only be met in the heart. Don't play table tennis, my child. Don't play table tennis. In the sense that what can happen many times is that you're hearing two voices. You're hearing my voice and the mind's voice. And
Yeah.
you make the claim that what you're hearing from the mind is your voice, and what you're hearing from the master is from outside. Actually, it is the other way around. So if you were to treat it that way, what would happen? If you were to treat what you were hearing from me as your heart, as your truth, as your reality, and what your mind is telling you as something which is absurd and outside of your reality, then how would your life change? It would change completely. But we do the reverse. We take the side of our mind and we say, this is what I think, what I feel. And we hear the master's voice as if it is something outside of us. Whereas actually, it is this, the master's voice, which is truly representing your heart, your reality, which is more intimately you than what your mind is. If you were to just make this switch, this itself will be so helpful.
Like my master, as you said, also using words. So mind is using words. I don't know. I'm so confused now.
You cannot make out the difference between your heart's voice and your mind's voice? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sometimes, yes. Like sometimes I see that my heart is speaking and I take it as, no, it's mine speaking and I reject it. But when mind speaks, I take it as heart speaks. So the way around always.
I'll give you 2 tips for this. And if you remember these 2 tips, you will never get confused with this ever again. If while you hear your heart's voice, you experience an unconditional love, not a personal love, not an individual love, not an emotion called love, but a deeper love which is unconditional, then that is your heart's voice. Even higher tip is that when you are clear about who you are, when it is apparent to you your reality, then the guidance that you hear is your heart's voice.
Yeah.
You can leave everything else as the mind's voice.
Yeah. I think second was already how it is.
Use it, use it. Use the tool fully. Don't allow your mind to scare you and to push you around like this.
Yeah, recently I'm just so active father, and it just creates something. But I'm so happy about this actually. It is a good challenge, and yeah, actually I'm growing, so I'm so happy about this. Like I started to experience myself and still in my heart while I'm with people, while I'm fully active. So
Yeah.
it's good actually. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good, good.
Thank you. And may I still, like, I just want to ask for your blessings and your full grace. Yeah, I will go somewhere, and for this I feel like I need your blessing because there were some situation there which I shared with you before. Yeah, may your blessings be with me and just, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I love you so much, Father. Thank
you, my
you.
child. Okay, let's go to Sharat.
Am I audible?
Very slightly, my dear. Let's try again.
No? Sorry. Actually,
It's a bit sporadic. It comes for a moment and then it dies again. Let's see. Is it connected correctly? Is the mic connected correctly in the system? Yeah.
audible now? Or still the same.
It's still a bit unclear, but we can try with this. We can try with this. Go ahead.
Actually, now I have no question to ask.
You're saying that you don't have any real question to ask. Yes?
Yes. There was a question. Actually, my grandfather passed away 15 days before.
I see.
So something triggered inside.
You're saying that your grandfather passed away 15 days ago and something got triggered. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, something, some true inquiry that was going after that. Actually, the one doing inquiry was not real before.
Yes. Yes.
Some, I cannot explain it. Just like there was a thought coming just after. Sometimes I will be there in his position, just during his. We used to burn his body like that. Things. Some questioning always was there, and something triggered inside, and I was doing some true inquiry, and somehow some deeper space is there inside, which is not. I don't have anything to say. It's not connected to this
Yes.
world. Now,
Yes.
if anything happens, including to me, if I lose my job or anything may happen, but that space is not even touched. I cannot explain it words. Better I keep quiet. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So you recognized as you were inquiring that there is a deeper space which remains untouched no matter what happens in life. You're recognizing that. Now, is that deeper space more intimate to you, or is the body, mind, and the functioning of the world and this waking state more intimate to you? What is closer to you?
That beingness state, actually, I feel something to say like that. That beingness state, which is
Yes.
the source of my breath. I can tell like that.
Yes, yes, very beautiful. So you are perceiving the world from that instead of looking into the deeper space from the world, isn't it?
I feel to say that that vibration is true, and that is more important than anything else.
Yes.
Even the one who is reporting about that state may change, but that that I amness or that intuitive state is there. Something
Yes.
I cannot explain. I don't know.
Very good. Very good. Very good report. Very good. I'm happy to hear this. Very happy to hear this. So remain in that beingness, in that I amness. Just naturally be in that. By remaining empty in your head, you're naturally in that light. And from there, everything that we ever can need or to understand, everything is available only through that.
And I feel that that person is thinning.
Person is
Thinning away. It's thinning away.
thinning away.
Yeah,
Very good.
thinning away.
The thinning away of the person is not actually a physical thing. It is the ease with which we let go of our mind. The ease with which we let go of our mind is the thinning away of the person, because there is no entity called the person. It is just a belief that we create using belief in the mind. When the person identity thins away, then the notions that seemed so attractive earlier, they just come and go, and we are not concerned with them. All my love, all my blessings. And I want to hear your reports as we go along. Keep me posted. And maybe see if you can do something about your mic for the future so I can hear you a bit better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to Karunamai. You're looking all super tanned. You've been hanging on the beach a lot?
Not really, but just in the Portugal sun.
It's the Portuguese sun.
Yeah. And I picked this for you today.
Oh,
Bro.
nice. Very good.
And I just want to offer myself up, and if you have anything to share with me, I'm happy to receive. And I think I had this longing in my heart this morning to meet you in the heart, and that's why I put my hand up.
Very good.
And
Very
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also next week when you go to Tiru, if you can offer our pranams, myself, Kalin and Nanas, at Yogiji's and Madhavaki's feet.
Yes.
We would be very grateful.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We're happy.
And all my love to Sangha.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I don't feel like there's much to add besides the guidance I've given everyone today.
Thank you.
It's very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All my love to you and the kids and everyone there.
Yeah. Kalini is with me in Portugal in a trial period.
Okay, okay, good, good. Yes, yes,
Oh.
yes. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you. Thank you so much. Let's go to Georgie.
Hello, Father.
Hello, my dear.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, it's all right. It's not great, but it's all right.
um, I just wanted to ask you about Tiru,
Yeah.
and I wasn't here
You going to
Wednesday.
come?
I would love to come. I don't think I can make it, but I'll be there somehow.
Good. Right.
And I heard you Monday say something about a goal you received to feed a
Yes.
1,000 people, something like this. And I wanted to ask you about that and whether that is what you're going to be doing.
Yes. So that is the feeling. So one morning, no, a few days back, I just received guidance in my heart that I should feed 1,000 people before I go to Neem Karoli Baba's ashram in Kenchi Dham up north. So that's what. And once this guidance came, then we wondered for a bit what would be the best, and then Yogi Ji's ashram and Mahadev Ki came as the first option, first choice for us, and it seems like that is going to play out well.
Mm.
So, was your question about the the process of receiving the guidance itself, or was it about the content of the guidance?
I don't know. I just wanted to know more about it. And what do you mean by the process of the guidance?
In the sense that often I've said, because many of you have reported saying that if it is like in words, then it has to be from the mind and the heart doesn't speak, and these kind of things. So I was wondering whether the question is coming from that sort of angle. But and I've often said that the heart can guide us in very specific ways as well. And that's all of our experience. In fact, many times I'm sure that that you came to India and stayed in Bangalore for a few months has to have been hard guidance. It cannot be something which is very attractive to the mind usually. So, so it can be quite specific in its guidance.
I was curious about it when you mentioned this specific guidance. Yes, I was. Yes. Yes.
So
I thought it was beautiful and very specific as well.
the same as I feel is the same as what is being shared in satsang is also received as guidance here. I don't ever feel that it's only for all of you listening. I also receive it as guidance here as well. So to receive this kind of specific words as guidance from the heart is quite natural now, because I've been sharing for quite some time. So it doesn't have to be just in the sharing sort of situation. It can be in any situation actually.
Yeah. And you're going to Neem Karoli Baba afterwards?
Yes, that's actually a family visit, because it so happened that one of my relatives, they have a house very close to Neem Karoli Baba ashram in Kenchi Dham. So we go close to that, and then I make a visit there. I don't know if the whole family will come, but I'll definitely go.
So many blessings for this trip to Tiru.
Thank you, thank you.
The whole Sangha will be there somehow, in whatever way we can.
I feel that. I feel that.
Thank you for your blessings, Father.
Thank you, my child. Thank you. All my love, and I realized that I wanted to wish you for your birthday, and maybe we can. How long has it been now? I'm losing track of time. Is it still fresh for us to sing at the end, or no?
Sure. It was Sunday. It was last Sunday. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Amiko.
Thank you, Ananta-ji.
We might as well just start laughing now.
I care for this, Ananta-ji. I Ananta-ji, I tried to find a question just to be with you a little bit, but actually I cannot hold on any question now. It's just all gone, but still some logging in here, just missing you, and just something want to be with you, like one with you. And this is why I'm here now, and I don't know what to talking about really. But it's still here, this desire, this lack in my heart, and I just feel it need to be filled up, and stay like that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be without you anymore, Ananta-ji.
So, what confirms to you that there is a lack in your heart?
Please, can you repeat?
Yes. What confirms to you, or how do you that there is a lack in your heart?
It is just a feeling, Ananta-ji. It is just a very strong feeling, very strong. Yeah.
It's a feeling. Okay. Now the feeling is saying lack, or there's a feeling.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
It's like this, but that like this is saying there's a lack in my heart and all that.
I know it is just the experience, and when we are together and speaking like this, there is some beautiful openness and something happened, and maybe this is the longings about it, but it is not just about the experience. I don't want just having nice experiencing, and this is just kind of like disappearing in you, or just finished in you, and not coming back to this identity anymore.
Okay, so let's make it really simple to start with. How do we know anything?
I don't know how, but there is some I don't know how, Ananta-ji, but somehow there is some knowledge coming and going, and I can say with the knowledge.
Yes, with the knowledge.
I don't like this knowledge. I don't like it. But it's still here, Ananta-ji.
The knowledge which comes and goes cannot be true. Yes.
I still, and also I know this one, Ananta-ji.
You know this one. No.
Yeah, Anant, I believe you. I believe this, and still.
Has to be
even the belief of the thoughts is just here as well. I know I already told this all, and you already answered, and I cannot say anything but is new, and still somehow I stuck in this kind of automatic belief
energetic system.
Okay, now let the next thought come and believe it automatically. Just believe it automatically.
Nothing is coming now.
Believe it. Just let it believe automatically. Yeah.
Ananta, you just mentioned before that sometimes we even have to let the thoughts come one by one.
They
Like we
only
have to
come one
make
by
the
one.
effort to
No. What I meant is that the thoughts are coming one by one.
yeah,
You have to make the effort to let them go one by one.
yeah,
Because it seems like it is effort.
yeah. And sometimes it's really Anantaji, sometimes it's, what you say is really easy and I don't do anything, it's just happening. But sometimes it's really just nights and nights when something is here and come and I just try
Only
to
the
let
nights.
all be true. Yeah, it's
Days are full freedom, but nights and nights have
believe me, it's like this, Anantaji. Every night is like a suffer, is like a hell for me. Daytime I am all right, and the nighttime is coming, and I am, oh God, I am in a hell, and I do whatever is in my hand. I chanting, I self-inquiring, I let it go, I surrendering, I do all the practice, Anantaji.
all at the same time.
No, one by one.
You're chanting first. Then it's like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, then next is what?
It's coming like this, always something else, but okay, it's not good enough. I choose another one, it still is not working now, and it's all confusion and it's just getting worse.
If chanting doesn't work, then you follow your breath.
Yeah, I tried those as well. Anantaji, nothing is working really. Just you.
It's like
When I see you.
open and empty, open and empty, open, empty.
It is like this. I don't even know what does it mean at that time. And the mind try to think about, okay, but what is open and empty? And this again is just the interpretation of this and just
And then, so if that doesn't work, then you put some bhajan on.
I do as well, yeah.
Bhajan.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't work, then you put some satsang.
Yeah. Yes, and yes.
But often people report that if they need to sleep, they just put my satsang on. And I put them to sleep. Have you tried that?
Anantaji, even when Monday and Wednesday I listen to your satsangs, but I cannot see you. I cannot see what's in your eyes. It's different. It's not the same, Anantaji.
Waves that I'm sending through my eyes.
Anantaji, for me, it's like this. It's something in this kind of
The other way
connection.
is working now.
I really want to take my head off fully, Anantaji.
So if we start with the presumption that everything that the sages have ever told us doesn't work, then how do we really solve this problem? I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this. None of this works. Only the X-ray vision from the eyes seems to work.
I don't know, I probably have
And
to
that too, if it's on a live satsang, only then the thing works. Not a recording doesn't do the trick.
No. Not even the audio.
But we have so many thousands of recordings with video. But it has to be live like this. How do you know this is not a recording? This is some AI recording. So what
I don't
happens?
know.
Some woo-woo stuff happens in the real live conversation like this.
It must be just a belief, Ananta-ji.
It
But
is.
but there is so much experience behind this belief, so much.
Experience behind a belief.
Yeah,
There's never a belief which can actually represent an experience.
there is never a belief. Mm.
You feel like an experience culminates into a belief. No, it is like saying that I was walking towards Spain and I ended up in Namibia.
There is this kind of, I don't know, something just disappear when I am with you. Something is just not here anymore. And it
Yes,
just,
that's my marketing program. That's different. But what I'm saying is what I'm saying is that just letting go or just being open and empty should work even without my superpowers.
I know it should, but it's not Ananta-ji. And this is
Not good.
not always. I mean, not always. Yes, of course, it's working sometimes. Probably when I don't even want that much, but when I want, it's not working. When I need,
Yes, that's the answer.
so I shouldn't want.
Yes.
But
You
how
said
can I want, not want? I mean,
you
how
said
can I?
yourself that when you don't want, it works.
Yeah,
But when you desire, which means that you are grasping, no? You're
yeah.
grasping strongly. When you're grasping strongly and wanting to let go, it can't work because you're grasping strongly. You see,
But
so
I can.
what is want? Want, especially in this case, in the spiritual case, is driven by a lot of self-concern. Like, what is happening to me? I should not be like this. I should be like that. This should not be my experience. Something else should be my experience. And then that becomes a want. And as we are wanting, we can't let go because wanting is the opposite of letting go.
So how to let the wanting go?
Don't believe it. Don't know anything at all. You know something? Do you know anything?
I don't want to know anything.
No, do you
But
know
I
anything?
feel I like. I feel I do. I feel I know that now I am sitting here and speaking to you, Ananta-ji, and it
Rubbish.
feels like a
You
knowledge.
are sitting here speaking to me.
I feel like this.
Do you know this?
I believe this.
Yes, you believe it, but do you know it?
Yes.
No, you don't. You see, this is how we believe things which are not true. I am sitting talking to him as if there's a I, there's a him. This is how lies get built. No? So you have to not know anything first. Who is talking to whom? Are you on this side or that side? Are you speaking or hearing? We don't know. We don't know. We have to first start with admitting that we don't know. You see? The world, of course, will call us crazy, and that's fine. You see? And maybe we are, who can say? But really, unless we stop knowing so much, we cannot use any technique or tactic. It's not going to work. We have to return to the innocence first. You see? As an infant, you knew.
Usually,
As an infant, did you know? I am crying in my mother's lap. What are you saying? I should stop it now. I should behave responsibly. See, we didn't know all of this, and yet everything was taken care of. So first, let's stop knowing so much, starting with I and you, I and the other. Let's stop knowing that. You see, now what happens is that we take such absurdity to be so truthful, and we say it with such confidence. Yes, I know this. I am talking to you right now. And we are in Advaita Satsang, in non-duality. There are no two. So is non-duality just a concept? Then if it is so true that I am talking to you, there are two, no? Then is Advaita just a nice concept that the two of us can agree on and say there are no two. Let's both agree on this. We're getting the absurdity of all of it. So my child, you must stop knowing things, because that is just conceptual ideas, beliefs floating around as truths. And the instant you take them to be true, then it can feel like, but I can't let go. We can't let go because we're taking the false to be true. She's determined not to laugh today till she gets her answers. To be empty is to not know anything. It's as simple as that. Your mind will shout, it will say, of course, but you know this. You're sitting in your house, you're looking at a computer. None of this is true. You don't know anything at all. Without this emptiness, letting go is not possible, and without letting go, God's light will not be apparent to us.
Thank you.
This is as simple as that. This is the key. Don't know. In fact, this is the only thing Guruji told me on the hot seat. If some of you have seen that conversation, I said, I don't know what to ask. He said, yes, it's better not to know because knowing messes it all up. You know, laugh and think at the same time. Maybe you should try this instead of all the spiritual techniques. Just put on a comedy show or something. Start with this next time. Very good. Thank you. Love you. Let's go to Ananda.
Hello,
There
Father.
Ananda is in a bright and sunny place today. Very nice.
It is.
Nice.
It's just waking up the sunrise right now. Thank you, Father. I don't know why I put up my hand. Something just felt to do that. And so there's been some messages writing, and there's been a little bit of fear of speaking with you.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to come forward and face that. Listening to Guruji and the beautiful family and father. It's bringing up a lot of things, a lot of garbage is coming up.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a little bit of fear of watching that come up.
Yeah.
And it's with, I relate to a lot of what Aniko says, but for myself, it's during the waking state. As soon as
Yes.
the waking state happens, it's the mind just comes right in. Do this, do that, and it's just it's a little bit overwhelming. And wanted to expose as well. There's been a lot of grasping at others, and grateful to Judith, who was very stern with your teachings, and Keisha as well, who's very harsh medicine she gives. But it's the truth, and it's what's needed. And
I've never heard Judith actually share much, so I'd be very happy to hear if there's a recording or something. I'd love to hear that.
very beautiful. What mostly is shared is her lightness. That's really taken in, because the mind will take this very serious, almost scary, and she'll just, no, it's light, laugh at it. It's just, look at my dog, what's she doing right now? And she's very light and a joy. It's such a joy. And with Keisha, it's there's so much love. But she knows what's needed. She knows exactly what to say at that moment, to just drop it. And beautiful. All the whole Sangha, Father, is beautiful. They're sharing. And
She's driving at the
I
moment,
just
so we
thank you
won't
for
disturb
sharing.
her too much, but yes. Very good. Very good.
You want to share?
Hello, Father.
Namaste. Hello, Mala.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my dear. Very welcome.
Love you.
So, love you, love you. Very good, my dear. I feel like, and we're going to end on this note because I have some relatives over for dinner, but it's very important that we isolate the source of all the trouble. Otherwise, the human condition can seem very confusing. There's a body with pain and pleasure. There are emotions which are all over the place. You can have so many different varieties of emotions. I believe the Germans have names for emotions which are not even there in English. So there's so many different names, different types of emotions. Then there are so many events that happen in the world, things that constantly happening around us. And there's a mind with all its thoughts and all of these things. So the human condition can seem very difficult to manage, can seem very full on, and we don't know where to start. So to isolate the trouble into just the next thought, it's all hell or heaven depends on what you do with your next thought. And don't let a thought convince you that you do not have the power to choose God over the mind. God is not that unkind that He would force us to experience this mind's separation and not give us the ability to stay in God's light. That is just not possible, no matter what the mind says. It may say, oh, automatic belief and all of those things, but it's just not possible. So, isolate all that we are concerned with to letting go of the next thought. That's all. That's all. And it is a gift that we can only experience it one thought at a time. As you let go, all will be resolved. Because this is the unborn mind. It is only in your belief, in your identification, that the mind is born truly. Otherwise, it is just a set of sensations that are passing. So everything is perfectly resolved in the unborn. Allow yourself to remain in the no mind. That's all. Then it's not that complicated. I was telling one child this earlier today that the mind will make it all very complicated and difficult, and we have to deal with so much. No, just one thought. It is our refusal to let that one go that puts us into the misery of having to deal with so much. It is our need to be right and our desire to want something that makes us then stuck in that perspective, which is then constricted in all these ways. That's all I wanted to end with today. Hello. Does Kesha want to remind us to sing for Georgie, or?
Hi, Father.
Hello. Drive carefully, my dear.
I am. I will. I promise. No, it came up pretty strongly to say this real quickly. You know, as Sangha, we're all guiding each other home, and some people gravitate towards other people more than others, and this and that. And there's no hierarchy of this guidance. You know, I feel like when we speak, I'm guiding myself home, but there's sometimes when I feel like I'm not as available or accessible, when I feel like I'm not in my heart or in my light, and I'm not as available to guide brothers and sisters home because I don't feel an integrity. So I guess I wanted to ask about that because it felt like that, you know, like that's just a thought. Like if you just do it and you guide yourself home in that moment, really, whether you're in the mood or not, or in your heart or not, you get there. And I don't know, it's just about this, you know, like we could wait forever until we believe we're fully in our heart to guide a brother or sister home.
No, don't go with the belief either way. Just follow your heart about that as well. Like if I was to go with the belief, then satsang today would be impossible because the state this body was in yesterday. No. But when I woke up this morning, I felt like, oh, this is perfectly fine. I can share today. So we just have to follow our heart moment to moment. And we have to trust that when it says, no, right now is not the best time to share, we can trust that. And when it says, yes, then we can trust that as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Father. And yes, we can sing happy birthday to Georgie Porgy.
Okay, let's do that, but I have to run.
Okay.
All my blessings to all of you. I'll leave my computer behind.
Okay.
Leave my computer behind and love you.
Love you.
Sadhguru Sri Muji Baba ki
Jai.
Guru Kripa.